Hey everyone, Krikasa here, back on the update for PSO2 NGS. Just like every other month, we have a seasonal event. This time it is Autumn 23. Just like last year's Autumn 22, there's different decorations around the Alio region, moon gaze rappies, seasonal enemies to kill, and seasonal quests to complete. This is all done for seasonal points, which can be used in Z-Tray's seasonal shop. Of course, this is different from last year's to be more appropriate for right now. But in her shop is a new weapon series to start us off with. This is the Alcinq Weapons. So in looks, it looks like a Synchwem, but just with blue and yellow. But it basically functions like a Revel coat from last seasonal event. It's the same exact potential, the same pre-upgrades. The only major difference is the equip conditions and the seasonal augment here. So with this, it can be equipped at level 40, which is actually pretty low. So a lot of returning players or new players getting up to that level point can just use this sooner instead of things previously, which were like level 60 or 67, something like that. But yeah, for the potential, it's the same as Revel Codes, where it has a 26% potency, 10% crit hit rate, and 10% damage resistance. So it's a good all-arounder weapon to have. But yeah, everything else is just pretty nice to just have automatically. You'd probably replace most of this stuff on here, but it's pretty solid to have right off the bat, just pre-upgraded. But for the season augment, this is for Autumn 23 seasonal enemies only. So after this event is done at the end of the month, this will be useless, but this is a major increase to your damage and resistance. 20% potency, 35% critical hit rate, and 30% damage resistance against all these seasonal enemies, which is very nice. So it's a huge chunk, and you pretty much want to use this for the seasonal event instead of really anything else in the game because of just this alone. I heard that the seasonal enemies are also in Lucille Exploration, so you can use it for that endgame activity too. All in all, I highly recommend using this for anybody, as it's available for all of the weapon types in the game, and it's just a touch away for like upgrading. It's already limit broken, so you can plus it up to 70 if you have the gold Prim 2s, and definitely want to get it to plus 61 at least for the extra augment slot to fill it in with some more damage. But for everything else in the shop, there is the special scratch tickets for Autumn 23, a new special scratch for this event that we'll talk about in a second, a Moon Gaze holograph, which is a build part you can use in your creative spaces, a Captain Crown accessory, Naroshi Yummy stamp, Motion Dash Cloud Riding, which kind of looks like a little stink cloud, or the Nimbus from Dragon Ball Z, a Vital Gauge, which you can put on, which goes over your health bar and whatnot. It kind of looks like Central City. Some Star Gems, you can get 100 of those right now. Regular special scratch tickets. And further down the list, we have pre-upgraded armors that you can grab. The one that you should be grabbing the most is the Ajax armor. This is pre-upgraded just the same as the weapons, where it has a whole bunch of good augments inside, minus like the Aeodomina. That one's kind of on the weaker side of things. But it's also at plus 60 and limit broken to be able to go to plus 70, so you can just put in enhancement materials right away. I recommend to at least get plus 61 for the augment slot. And unlike previous seasonal events, you can actually get up to 6 of these for your account instead of just 3. So you can split it up amongst like dual quests if you want to, or you can use it on separate characters. These other armors are just the same pre-upgraded, but they're just lower base stat values and are lower level requirements. So this is just if you're like earlier in the game, or if you want just more armors to mess around with. The rest of the shop is materials that you can use with upgrading Bizardium, Infernium, Aegis Integra to grab augments or Neos Astrians with, the Defi capsules for the corresponding dual quests, Phase 1 and Phase 2, just Stat 4 augments, Mastery 4, Gigas 4, all of that good stuff inside that you can either use straight up or kind of upgrade into a new augment capsule. There's also Prim 2s at the bottom, which we haven't really seen, but this can be used for the plus 60 to plus 70 upgrading, as these are pretty much required for that. So you get a set of 10 right now, a whole bunch of alpha reactors, which you just convert into cash, and augment success rates and end grinders at the very end. There will be an update to the shop, probably in the halfway mark of a seasonal event, as they always do, which will add more of these augments and materials, as well as more cosmetics up at the top. Now, let's talk about this Autumn 23 special scratch. So you use these tickets in that special scratch, which you can access in the shop menu with the Play Scratch tickets. Right on the bottom here, Autumn 23. And in here is a whole bunch of previous mission pass items, but there are some new items inside as well. But that is the good portion of it, so you might have a lot of these already. Do keep in mind, if you do get repeats, which you already have bound to account, you can exchange them for mission pass badges in the exchange shop with the item trader. You can use that for regular special scratch tickets if you want to. Yeah, for the new stuff in here, there's these weapon camos, these CV variants of the Rocks weapons, the Dio Standard, the Steam Millennia, which this is a pretty good one to have because it's almost available for all weapons in the game. Kind of like a steampunk looking thing. The Purus Almaty, which is available for all weapons, just kind of a chunky little variant there. But these are probably like the top items that you want if you care for weapon camos. There's a music disc, Trainia Cocoon Success, and then different mag forms also from the mission pass. But for new stuff, there is these portable holograms. These are basically build parts we have kind of seen already, just in portable hologram form. So the Lapint Minute Mo, a Moongaze Rappy Plush, Picnic Blanket, Fruit Basket. You can just use this stuff for like screenshots or whatever else that you want to use them for. Yeah, everything else on the bottom is just like the usual kind of stuff you see in special scratches, like augment success rates, passes, and SG tickets. That's all there really is to this scratch. Every 40 plays you do gives you a select ticket, so you can select something specific that you want. If you don't care for any of the cosmetics, you can always just use it for 100 SG, which that's a pretty valuable option. But for earning tickets for this, besides the seasonal shop, you can do the LTQ or the limited time quests. This is because of the daily task that gets added every time there is one. So in the complete section that I have, there's this clear the limited time quest. So if you clear it with at least 10,000 quest points for this unidentified region A32 this week, you can get a guaranteed special scratch ticket with additional points on top. To enter this, you got to go to the quest counter, which is available in the same menu right here, and then limited time quests. For this drill unidentified region A32, you need a 3227 battle power. So that's around level 72 in terms of like where you need to be at in the game. So it is pretty much like end game for an activity. Once inside, though, it is pretty simple. You just gotta kill enemies for 5 minutes, and that's pretty much it. There's different mechanics in the fight that you can use, such as the mobile cannons, the yellow crystals, and a blast sign which spawns if you complete the trial that's in the middle of this entire thing, and you can use all of those to try to get more kills. There's quest points attached to this, which give you different ranking rewards based on how you placed against other people, but ultimately that does not matter. If you look here, it's 4,700 points for 4 and below, and only like 100, more per rank above that. So nothing really to worry about in terms of points. Just do the quest as you would. Just try to get as many kills as possible, because it kind of ties to how many rewards you get at the end. Every time, in addition to those ranking points, you get 25k seasonal points, so you can get up to 30,000 every run. So that's pretty much like the guaranteed reward that you're going for, because that's like the best way to get seasonal points, besides like combat zones, which can kind of compare. Before the actual drops in this, you can get LC augments, albeit one at a time or sometimes none, but it's good to get that if you don't quite have access to Lucille Exploration yet. But hopefully with those armors and weapons in that seasonal shop, you can get up to that point. But there's also gold prims, which drop like crazy in this, which the gold prim sword ones you can use for augment 10% chances in the item trader. But there's also sometimes gold prim sword 2s and armor 2s, which you can use to upgrade the stuff you're getting out of that seasonal shop or other gear. There's a chance at the Tasa weapon series, but don't count on it. It's the super rare, crazy weapon series in this game right now. You'll be insanely lucky if you get that thing. Then there's also the Alcinq series that we saw in the seasonal shop. It can drop in here too. It just doesn't have all of those pre-upgrades on it. It's mainly to try to get a Fixa to drop, which you can transfer to one of the pre-upgraded ones. There's also the Octo Armor Sheza, which with this, it's like the Octo Armor, Arga, and Belta that we saw in the previous 2 weeks. It's just the melee and technique version of this thing. But everything else is the same, with HP plus 40 and the PP plus 6. So this is technically like the best armor to have for either technique or melee users. But I want to go too crazy on this because it's also insanely rare and can be expensive in this personal shop because of that. I would still just use like the Octo Armors from Lucille Exploration, which are guaranteed and the same exact potency anyways. We can also get special scratch tickets in here, those Autumn 23s, as like a continuous farm, but those are rare as well. It'll probably take you quite a few runs to be able to get that, and maybe like 1 or 2 every hour if you're lucky or something like that. Not as crazy as like the Tassa or the Octo Armor, for instance. But for the Arms Refiners, which you use for limit breaking, those seem to drop pretty consistently. At least the Arms Refiner ones for me. I did like I don't know, 4 or 5 runs, and I got 3 of them out of those runs. So it's almost like every other run you're getting an Arms Refiner. So that's pretty nice. Ultimately, though, this is for players that are just getting to this level point within the game, or for those that want to farm out seasonal points like crazy in this first week. I would mainly just do this with the daily and just farming for points, and not really counting on getting too much in terms of like, the Tassa, the Octo Armor Sheza, or the LC augments in here. If you're looking for those, might as well just do Lucille Exploration instead. I also forgot, speaking of that, you can get Growth Mitt in here too, which can give you like 2 or 3 every single time. So an alternative way besides Lucille to get some of that material. Let's talk about the AC scratch this week next, which is the Moonlight Sanctuary 23. So this has a ton of different outfits in it, with the Hyoris with Type 1 and Type 2, which are actually, decently priced. But the Maid Fox, which is more maid outfits for Type 2, as well as Heavenly Charm, which is kind of like a sexy outfit, they said, are very expensive, at least on Ship 3, in terms of outfits. But of course, like the idols, like the fanning, and the flower petals are going to be more expensive. It doesn't seem like too many people are actually scratching on this as of yet, but maybe it's just too early in the week, or maybe because it's a seasonal event, not too many people are playing as of now. Yeah, there's also the dash and glide with the paper planes, emote cooling off, a whole bunch of portable holograms, the hairs, which are also quite expensive, but kind of tie in with those outfits. The Rappy Cane, which is available for rods, katanas, and harmonizers. That's an interesting combinations of weapons there. But also it comes with like the color green, so whenever you're using abilities, has the green effect. And just like this little cane here. There's just a ton of other like makeup options and eyebrows and stuff. But in particular, the shoes down here, some of these accessories are also pretty expensive. So if you're looking to make some Maceta through AC scratching, this might be one of those scratches that you want to scratch on. Next, we have big changes to SG Scratch tickets. So they used to update the prizes about every 6 months, where it would just keep piling up for 6 months with the SG Scratches, and they would just remove them all at once. But now with the new method, it's going to be sequential. So it'll build up for that period of time, and then the latest one will be pushed out, and the newest one will be put in, but keeping everything else, in that lineup. So just kind of be shifting now instead of just building up and removing the whole thing. For the refined forms as well, they used to be discontinued right away. They were just the limited 1 month, 2 month spans, and they would just go away. But they will now stay in the sequential lineup as well. For the second part of this, they'll be discontinuing the stage bonus on SG scratches. So this is where, when you scratched on it with star gems, it would increase the featured item rate or the featured prizes inside the prize list. This sounds good on paper, where you get a 1.5 times multiplier for these featured items, but once you receive those featured items, this wouldn't go away, and it would just have a higher percentage of getting these than everything else. So you just get so many more duplicates of this, instead of maybe other things that you would want inside these scratches. This will be now removed completely, so you won't just get a ton of duplicates of the featured items. Moving on to campaigns, we have the Gear Up Your Class Special Campaign Part 1. So this is just for Fighter, Gunner, and Tector right now, where it's kind of encouraging you to level up these classes for different rewards. So if you get them up to a certain point, you can get these commemorative plates for your creative spaces. You just kind of put them around to just show that you got them to, I think, level 60. Then also there's other little tasks that you can do to get these success rates. Then when you log in, you can claim 10 growth mint and 15 common yellow triggers as part of this. But you can check this all out in the limited task part of the task menu, where if you change to any of these classes, they give you a whole bunch of extra weapons for their weapon types, which are all upgraded to plus 60. So these are level 1 weapons, which are kind of pre-upgraded like the weapon series in the seasonal shop. So they'll have the upgraded potential, plus 60, as well as a ton of augments. And all you gotta do is change it to your main class. And then for the plates, yeah, get it to level 60 for the main class. And if you already upgraded it to that level point, you just gotta switch the class and it'll give it to you automatically. For the success rates, you gotta kill enemies as these classes, and it has to be main class, and you gotta get 1,500 kills for these different bonuses. This kind of applies to all of these. And if you do every single one of getting them to level 60, you can get 3 beta reactors, which are worth 100,000 Meseta a pop, and 100 star gems. So that's pretty nice. There's a ton of other limited time tasks for this seasonal event, which will give you different points by doing tasks and whatnot, getting more upgrade materials, and stuff for the creative spaces. Another campaign is the Great Bargains in the SG shop, which kind of ties in with the Gear Up campaign. It's available until the 26th, where you get this Gear Up Your Class support set, which gives you experience boosters, plus 50% for 24 hours, 3 of those, and then bonus capsules for Half Finale S and Mastery 4S, all for 700 SG. You can buy this up to 3 times. These capsules have a 100% success rate, so once you have them, you can just apply that. This is kind of like a pay-to-skip mechanic, where this is like one of the best capsules in the game, so you can just have that automatically if you want to. And then the Mastery 4S is also pretty solid. That's pretty much everything for this week, but before you go, there is a keyword by David. Fall means good food. If you type this in exactly in-game in like the area chat or party chat, whatever, you can claim a reward in the system menu, get campaign items, and get 50 star gems, as well as 3 rare drop rate boosters. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.